90-day Fiance Annie scared amid concerning pregnancy update. 90-day fiance celeb Annie Francisco worries for her baby on the way following the latest pregnancy update. What's going on with this situation, and what do we know so far? 90-day fiance. Robert Springs and Annie Francisco expanding family again. Robert Springs and Annie Francisco may not have started off as franchise favorites among 90-day fiance viewers, but over the years they have a lot of fans rooting for them and wanting the best for them as a couple and as a family. When Robert and Annie announced that they were expecting again and that they would be expanding their family once more, the 90-day fiance community as a whole was over the moon for them. They are a genuine couple who put in the work to make their marriage last. And fans love to see when a TLC relationship is genuine. Annie scared amid latest pregnancy news. 90-day fiance cast member Annie Francisco is currently at 34 weeks with her pregnancy, which means things are coming down to the final stretch. When you're so close to the finish line, anxiety and anticipation are through the roof. And this only made the most recent news that much more concerning. According to the latest updates from Annie Francisco, she told her 90-day fiance followers, "I wake up contraction and I only 34 week I'm scared." For any 90-day fiance followers who have been following Robert and Annie for the last few years, this current pregnancy is extra concerning because this is their rainbow baby after the painful loss of their son, Adriel Hassan. Without question, the 90-day fiance community is rallying around them after everything they have been through, and viewers want nothing but the best for this new family member on the way. 90-day fiance fans rally around Annie in show of support. Annie Francisco isn't currently due for a few more weeks. So the fact that she woke up with contractions is certainly a cause for concern. As Annie Francisco and Robert Springs currently deal with this situation, many 90-day fiance fans are sending love, prayers, and other positive messages to this fan-favorite family. In the world of reality television, few stories tug at the heartstrings quite like those in 90-day Fiance. Among the couples featured, Annie and Robert's journey has been filled with love, challenges, and the complexities of navigating a new life together. Recently, however, Annie found herself grappling with a wave of emotions following a concerning pregnancy update. Annie, originally from the Dominican Republic, had always dreamed of a family. After meeting Robert in a whirlwind romance that defied distance and cultural barriers, she believed her dream was finally coming true. The couple's chemistry was palpable, and viewers watched as they fell in love amidst the backdrop of sunny beaches and late-night conversations. But with love comes uncertainty, and the announcement of Annie's pregnancy brought both joy and anxiety. As the weeks passed, Annie's excitement morphed into a mixture of anticipation and fear. It wasn't just the physical changes that unsettled her. It was the reality of becoming a mother in a foreign country, far from her family and familiar support systems. She often found herself staring at the baby clothes she had lovingly picked out, a smile creeping onto her face, only to be replaced by a frown as thoughts of "what if" crept in. The pregnancy update came like a thunderstorm on an otherwise clear day. During a routine checkup, the doctor mentioned some concerns that sent Annie's heart racing. Words like monitoring and further tests echoed in her mind, amplifying her fears. The thought of complications shook her to the core. As she sat in the clinic, she felt utterly alone, surrounded by other expectant mothers whose laughter felt like a distant world she could no longer connect to. Robert, who had always been her rock, sensed the shift in her spirit. While he tried to reassure her with his usual calm demeanor, he couldn't help but worry himself. He watched as Annie became more withdrawn, her usual bubbly personality dimmed by the shadows of anxiety. The couple found themselves navigating a tightrope of hope and fear, each step forward met with hesitation. One evening, as they sat on their porch, the weight of unspoken words hung heavily in the air. Annie's eyes were glued to the horizon, where the sun dipped into the ocean, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Robert finally broke the silence. "Annie, I know you're scared." "I'm scared too." Her heart ached at his admission. "What if something is wrong?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "What if I can't be the mother our baby needs?" "Hey," Robert replied softly, moving closer to take her hand. "We'll figure this out together. You're not alone in this." Annie looked into his eyes, searching for reassurance. "But what if it doesn't go the way we want? What if I lose the baby?" Tears welled up as she voiced the deepest fear that haunted her thoughts. He squeezed her hand, a firm anchor in the storm. "We can't predict the future, but we can face it together. No matter what happens, we'll get through it. We're a team." That night, Annie lay awake, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with scenarios both beautiful and terrifying. The life growing inside her was a promise, but also a source of anxiety. The thought of complications felt like a dark cloud looming over her, casting shadows over her dreams. In the days that followed, Annie made a conscious effort to shift her focus. She began attending prenatal classes, meeting other expectant mothers who shared their own fears and triumphs. Hearing their stories reminded her that she wasn't alone in her journey. With each new lesson, she felt a spark of empowerment. Knowledge became her ally against the uncertainties. Meanwhile, Robert took on the role of a dedicated partner. He surprised her with small gestures, like breakfast in bed and handwritten notes of encouragement. "You're doing amazing," one note read, adorned with doodles of tiny baby feet. These little reminders became beacons of hope for Annie, urging her to embrace the present rather than dwell on what could go wrong. But just as things began to feel more manageable, Annie received another update that sent her spiraling. At her follow-up appointment, the doctor revealed a potential risk that required more monitoring. Panic surged through her veins. That night, she sat in the living room, tears streaming down her cheeks. "What if I can't handle this?" she cried. Robert wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close. "You're stronger than you know. We'll take it one day at a time. Let's focus on what we can control." His words resonated, and slowly, Annie found herself leaning into the support of her partner and newfound friends. She began journaling her thoughts, pouring her heart onto the pages, a cathartic release for the swirling emotions inside her. With each entry, she discovered strength in vulnerability and hope in uncertainty. As the weeks turned into months, Annie's pregnancy journey transformed. With every doctor's appointment, she learned more about her body and the little life inside her. She celebrated small victories, like hearing the baby's heartbeat or feeling the first gentle kicks. These moments, although intertwined with anxiety, became milestones of resilience. In the quiet moments, Annie would often reflect on her fears and the growth she experienced. She realized that while uncertainty was a part of life, it didn't have to define her journey. With Robert by her side, she felt an undeniable bond that could weather any storm. Ultimately, Annie learned that being scared was just another part of becoming a mother. Embracing her fears allowed her to grow, and in that growth, she found strength she never knew she had. The love she and Robert cultivated became a foundation upon which they would build their family, no matter the challenges that lay ahead. As the day of the baby's arrival approached, Annie felt a sense of peace wash over her. She was ready not just for the joys of motherhood, but for the journey that would forever change her life. With Robert's unwavering support, she had transformed fear into courage, proving that even amidst uncertainty, love could light the way.